Is it me, or does this count sound like it's like really sad and slow? All right. Yep, that was about 5 minutes of very fast editing and throwing together.
That's it, guys. That's the whole movie. Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Poor Ironcaster. Okay, he's got some stuff going on in the background.
Oh, does he now?
Yeah, it's your brother again, isn't it? I bet it is. Anyway, no, not this time. Okay, someone else.
I think we're good.
Okay.
It's just one of those unfortunate things. It's like the minute going live, and then someone's like, "I think it's time to have a long, loud phone call." You know.
I know how
Hold
that
on,
goes.
give me your number, Ironcaster. Let's do this.
No.
Let's have a really long loud phone call.
Oh dang!
I'm kidding.
All right, hey, welcome everybody out there to the show. This is the Sword and Sorcerer discussion, and the only reason I'm doing this is because Ironcaster finally popped his cherry and watched it, and he
And it got him so excited he got quiet.
can't talk.
Wow.
So you've never seen it before, Ironcaster, before this?
No, not before this. Not before this. I hadn't seen it, and I'm just being a little cautious because apparently it's time for another phone call.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, we'll talk a little bit for you. I do have the movie queued up, and oh, hey, look, it's just me. I'm so important. Oh, there we go. And we could actually check out some clips from it. And oh, hey, Brad, you're busy reading Sailor Moon. Okay, well,
Brad, you're my hero. Can we have? Okay, so Sailor Moon. Oh wait, that's not what we're talking about. My bad. Dang.
Yeah, Squeaky can tell you all about Sailor Moon. She had a life or death depending on it at one point story. So, which I'm gonna clip that at some point and post that up because that's too good not to.
Don't do that.
Why?
Because
It's funny.
it's not.
It was on my show too. So. You're part of the show. You're important. Everybody likes you.
Wait, so we were talking about the movie. You've got the movie queued up.
Yes. I do. I do have the movie queued up. Couple things to say about this film. When I think of Gonzo cinema, I always think of this film because there's so much crazy stuff that happens in this film, and yet for the 1980s, as that was pretty much when I discovered Dungeons and Dragons, and Sword and the Sorcerer definitely influenced a lot of my early Dungeons and Dragons, because that sword, oh yeah, everybody, all my characters had to have that sword. You know the one. If you don't know, you'll see it. Let me cue through a little bit of
But
it
I mean, come on,
here.
who doesn't want a sword that can shoot swords?
Yeah, sword that could shoot swords.
My regret is I don't have that toy.
The the goo that he's in. He was wearing these full eye contact lenses. These called like sclero lenses that would cover your entire eye, the front of your eye. And unfortunately, that goo that he's in interacted with those lenses and fused them to his eyes.
Oh,
Yeah,
This
he
is
had to
actually,
go.
this is the only scene that he's actually in, right?
I'm gonna go get the trash.
No, he's this
He
is
does
not
the
the only scene that
voiceover.
he's in. This is not the only scene that he's in. He's in the film for here and there, but after the scene and these things got fused to his eyes, he had to be taken over to UCLA Medical Center so that they could surgically remove the contact lenses from his eyes.
Looks like the hand wax dipping thing at the Renaissance Festival's gone wrong. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, no, just your hand.
I like to imagine he went in full makeup.
Well,
they didn't clean him off the man like that. That'd be great.
I don't know about all that, but I could just imagine. You know, the doctors are like, "Holy cow!"
Like, guess what we saw in the ER today?
Yeah, this film was made by a Hawaiian director, Albert Pyun, who is one of my favorite directors of all time because everything that he makes is just so gonzo, batshit crazy cool. You know,
His first film, right?
Yeah, it's his first film, and his laundry list of his films that came after this were something else. I mean, like, he did Nights, he did he did
He started that kind of like
Cyborg
craze, yeah.
He did Cyborg, he did all these other things, he did all these martial arts films and everything else, and a lot of his inspiration came from Chambara cinema, which is, you know, the old Japanese samurai films, especially a lot of Lone Wolf and Cub. In fact,
he also directed Captain America.
Yeah, he did that horrible Captain America film with Greg, what's his name? I forget who he was the son of, but he's the son of somebody famous. But anyway. Yeah.
If that's the case, I expected better fight scenes.
Well, you know, actually the fight scene in this one was good, but
whatever.
Oh, come on now. Don't be mean. But yeah, when we get to the end and you see all the gimmicky weapons in that fight scene, all of that is inspired by Lone Wolf and Cub and all the crazy gimmick weapons that were in that movie, or in those movies, I should say, with all the, you know, huge amounts of blood and gore spray and all that stuff. In fact, he kind of envisioned this film as a sort of a horror film, fantasy film.
Sorry.
What?
It's not.
Well, I mean, come on. Oh, really? Okay.
What is he holding
I love
there?
Richard Lynch.
It's her heart just
It's
exploded
supposed to
out
be
of
her
her
heart
chest,
and
right?
everything. Yeah, it's supposed to be her heart and stuff, but
Okay.
it kind of doesn't look like it. But
Nope, not at all.
not at all.
He didn't even have to say Kalima.
No, he didn't have to say Kalima, nothing. He didn't have to go reach in. It's kind of funny because later on, somebody liked this scene so much they actually made a spell out of it in D&D first edition. It was written in an obscure book called the Necromicon, which you'll be lucky if you could find it, because it's a small print run, but it was called Thothamon's Organ Request, where you could literally just sit there and hold your hand out and then, summon whichever organ from somebody you wanted, and it would just kind of go just like the scene. And
wow, organ transplant has never been the same since.
Wow.
Oh, that's not where I went with that.
Oh.
Pudding.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, yeah, we should probably point out, this is Talon as a young boy. This is him he's your main hero of the story. And yes, like all fucking D&D heroes now, he has a tragic background because his entire family is slaughtered. He loses his kingdom, blah, blah, blah. He's exiled and has to wander the lands. And,
My kingdom for a extra sword blade.
There you go. It's like, dueling dragons. It's like a Nerf gun. They just get lost under the couch. Yeah, no kidding. It's like, Talon, did you leave your sword blade under the couch again? The maid tripped on it and cut her foot off.
Great. Now we have to go find another maid. Way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the maids have extra feet too. I mean, if there's extra blades.
And here's the not Christopher Guest character of this movie.
Yeah.
Whispering in the ear of Richard Lynch.
That's a great. He's a great actor.
Wig?
I forget his name, but he's a good actor. He's still around too. He's still with us. Unfortunately, Richard Lynch next to him is not, and he was a phenomenal actor.
He won a Saturn Award for this. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, he won a Saturn Award. I think he beat out. I think Rutger Hauer was nominated for Blade Runner, and they gave the award to this guy. It was like, whoa, really?
Wow.
Yeah, Saturn Awards are kind of a joke. For those of you who don't know anything about Saturn Awards, obviously it's like genre awards. And he was Best Supporting Actor in fantasy film or whatever that year, 1982.
Wow. Well, that's kind of sad because I really love Blade Runner and I love Rutger Hauer in that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that pains me because I also love Richard Lynch, and I think it's kind of sad how he died
in other roles.
Yeah.
Well, it may have been too that Blade Runner just didn't catch on at the time, and it's kind of gathered momentum, whereas this one hadn't.
Yeah.
So looking back, it's easy to say, well, that was a mistake. But at the time, they may have been like, man, this guy is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because this movie was also the start of. This movie was the start of a big trend of sword and sorcery. Well, it was not the start, but it was right at the beginning of that trend. So
yeah, this film literally came out 1 week before Conan the Barbarian.
Yep. And Excalibur was the year before. We were talking about that before the show. And Excalibur, this, and Conan, and then you ended up with like Dragon Slayer and Beastmaster and all of that. So it's just this crazy bubble of all of these films.
And I believe Beastmaster and Conan were shooting almost simultaneously, and I think Beastmaster was slightly behind on its release or something.
Shooting like a 3-bladed sword.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but yeah, you just had this sudden splurge of all these sword and sorcery films, and the thing is, Albert Pyun, when he tried to get this film made, he tried to shop it around everywhere, and nobody wanted to do it because they thought it was going to be one of those classic British, high court drama type, old, what do you call, Ivanhoe type films. Not this gonzo crazy ass film with, exploding hearts and shooting sword blades and lots of gratuitous nudity.
I'm looking right now at the list of all the movies that came out this week within 82,
mm-hmm.
and it was stuff like Tag the Assassination Game, The Jury, and it was 3 weeks later actually was Conan the Barbarian,
mm-hmm.
and then the week after that was Annie.
Well, okay, I thought you were going to say something that was in the genre, and that was Annie. Okay.
No. I mean, it could be interpreted as in the genre. I mean, who knows?
And then the week after that was Rocky 3. So that's just kind of the landscape of what was in theaters at the time.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's like it was in 1982, and it's like I was telling Pops, 1982 is still, in my opinion, the uncontested best year for films, because you had Wrath of Khan, you had Blade Runner, you had E.T., you had this, you had Conan, you had
I had to verify
Annie.
this, Ironcaster, to make our case even harder, is they re-released Raiders of the Lost Ark in theaters in 1982. They put it back in theaters, so mic drop for 1982, in my opinion.
I think as good as 82 is, I might have to give it to either 84 or 86. Or I'm sorry, 89.
89 would be
those are like
reasonable
the 3 best years.
Okay, if you put it in top 3, that's okay, but 82 is still at the top, in my opinion. Because, come on, man, Wrath of Khan, Blade Runner, and Conan. Of course, everybody would be like, it's like, why are you putting those all 3 together? That's like really weird. But yeah, Death Wish 2, yeah, that was also. I don't know, I like 3 better, but Oh, yeah, Beastmaster was 82, as Lord Fulman says, and 82 had Mazes and Monsters. No, Greg, no. Mazes and Monsters.
I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. Batteries Not Included came out, but that's just me.
I'm not going to say anything gross because
I think at the end of the day, we're all agreeing that the 80s overall was like the best decade of cinema.
Yes.
It was a robot movie. It was cute as can be. It's my favorite.
I saw it in the theater. It was adorable. But yeah, and I've said this before. Pops has heard it before, and Pops going, "Oh God, he's going to say it again, isn't he?" I'm going to say it again.
Fine.
I love the 80s and probably the early 90s for cinema because it's like that was when Hollywood was being fueled by cocaine, and you can just see Hollywood producers and stuff sitting around going, "Oh, this guy wants to make a movie about a dude who shoots swords out of a sword. Fuck yeah, let's do it."
But 1982 will make a film about a little girl that's going to be abducted by a ghost and trapped in a television.
That's right. Yeah, Poltergeist. That's right. 82 had 5 of the top 10 fantasy movies. I totally agree with this, Greg. Yes. Yeah. So 82 was a phenomenal year, and if you're a gamer, 82 was definitely your year because. Well, I mean, I discovered D&D literally the year before, or a couple of years before. It's hard to. I can't remember if it was 80 or 81 when I got my first D&D book, but definitely by the time all this stuff started hitting, I was pretty well into D&D, and yeah, I mean, everything that I saw in the films made its way into my game somewhere. There is actually a film that was made in the 80s, I think around the same time that I am trying to acquire a copy of cheaply because it's very expensive right now. It was called The Archer, and it featured one of the coolest fantasy weapons. It had the heart bow.
The Secret of Nim. Oh, sorry.
Dueling Dragons. I remember the Dueling Dragons listed off some of the other Dark Crystal, Secret of Nim, Flight of Dragons, Last Unicorn. Yeah, Beastmaster.
Oh yeah. Conan the Barbarian, Dark Crystal, Secret. Yeah, Flight of the Dragon. I recently saw Flight of Dragons, thanks to Kringe, because I hadn't heard about this film, and it was actually good. I loved it. And I did see Last Unicorn in the theater. I had to wait. I had HBO back then. Well, the parents, I should say, had HBO. So that's where I got to see Conan, Beastmaster, and Secret of Nim. And I saw Dark Crystal in the theater. They should.
I'll say I've got to get around to watching the Beastmaster. I still have not seen that one yet.
Caster.
Flight of the Dragons.
Suika, you would love Flight of the Dragons. It's great.
Yeah, Flight of the Dragons, a lot of fun.
Let me see if we can move on a little bit here. Over there that's the late, not him, but come on, help me. Yeah. That's the late Simon McCorkindale, who I always thought was a pretty talented British actor. And funny thing about this, originally, he does the narration for this film. Well, originally they brought in Oliver Reed to do it. Ooh. The great English actor Oliver Reed, which some of you out there probably going, who? Last film he was in, kiddies, was Gladiator. So go look it up. If you haven't seen Gladiator, you need to go see it.
Which Jaws film was McCorkindale in? Was it the third one?
I think that's right, because I know he wasn't in the first and second one, so it was probably the third one.
I didn't know if it was one of the sequels, yeah.
Yeah, McCorkindale. He was kind of all over the place. He was in all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. All sorts of stuff, yeah.
But I always thought he was a pretty good dramatic British actor. He kind of did a lot of that English overacting stuff, but he was still good. But the deal is, it's okay, they bring in Oliver Reed to do the narration, and he shows up, and he is fucking drunk beyond belief. He's belligerent. He's throwing shit around. He's insulting everybody. The producer hid from Oliver Reed. He did not want to be in the same room with Oliver Reed. So that only left Albert Pyun, the director, in the same room with Oliver Reed. And Oliver Reed is sitting there punching him and, throwing shit and insulting him and all sort of stuff. And then he starts to read the script and all that. And he realizes, oh, wow, this is much better than I thought it was. This is not the film I thought it was. Unfortunately, by that point, he had pretty much wiped himself out to do the job. So it was kind of he kind of left that studio feeling a little bit defeated, because he missed out on a chance to do something great because he was just stumbling drunk. But they were lucky they had Simon McCorkindale, and he had, obviously he was in the film. He'd read the script, and he was like, I get it. I like what you're doing. So they got him to do the narration, and as it turns out, it was really good. So, what? You haven't seen Brad?
How could you not have seen Gladiator?
I haven't seen Gladiator either. Don't let them hassle you, Brad.
Oh, they're so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
Sailor Moon's where it's at. Just saying.
Standard Oliver Reed, from what I've heard. Yeah, Oliver Reed had a tendency to be drunk as hell when he was in productions and get physical with people and be belligerent and all that sort of stuff. Should have gotten Brian Blessed. Oh yeah, God, can you imagine that voice? And in these lands, Talon walked along. No, I can't do it. He's too awesome.
Well, I could have done a better job narrating.
And she went on to play in Dynasty. She was the youngest daughter on Dynasty.
Yeah.
Which was huge in the 80s, folks. Huge.
Yeah. And apparently she got some kind of pressure from somebody because I don't think she originally wanted to do the nudity that was in this film, but she got pressure from outside the studio or something to do it, and eventually she kind of reluctantly consented, but I need to be careful with that too. By the way, since there is nudity in this film.
Yeah, but
serious nudity as opposed to joking.
Isn't a lot of the nudity in this movie like in the house of all the captive females?
Yeah, the harem.
I don't know that I would call them captive. That altar scene with the screaming faces. Let me see if I can pan all the way back. I don't want to lose this spot though. Before I get to that. I want to mention that this fall, which is supposed to be the sorcerer throwing himself off the cliff to avoid being killed, was performed by a stuntman, and he died during this fall. So yeah,
and it's the 80s, so we kept the shot in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like sort of like awkward and weird to talk about now, but in the 80s, we just don't care. Yeah, we know he died in this shot, but we kept the shot. It was so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it almost kind of makes sense. Like, oh, look, it's a tribute to his legacy that his final moments were captured on film. But yeah, he made that jump, and evidently he missed the airbag by just a couple of feet.
In that case, it's a beautiful bed. I could get me one.
Sailor Moon.
That's pretty horrible, but yeah. All kinds of interesting facts.
You'll wake up every morning with them singing the theme song.
Aww. You know how to make things better.
Have a much better movie inside them if they just took the time and money to make them. The elements. Yeah, I kind of agree. This wasn't made on a huge budget, but it was a decent sized budget, I guess. For the time, it's like I don't know. I don't have it punched up. I'm sure Ironcast will probably get there faster than I can, but I will try.
That did seem kind of pointless to it. Where, rip stream.
What?
You broke it. It says stream suspended for policy violations. Ooh.
Oh, because we're showing the movie.
You broke it.
We broke the stream.
Hide it and.
Oh, that's me being all loud. Sorry.
We'll just get rid of that, and we'll kind of sit here and keep chatting. I guess we could bring that back up in a little bit and just use it for some screenshots.
Yeah.
Talk about the movie.
Yeah. What do you want to do? Do we just end it and go back on, or what?
Pops, I think when
ours just came back on us. Yeah, it just came right back. The problem was I had to make sure that I got the file directly off StreamYard so I could use it to recreate the stream in chunks, and then I had to put screenshots in over certain pieces that were playing and stuff, and kind of recreated it as almost like a playlist. It kind of stunk. It took a ton of time, but yeah,
it can be salvaged.
Yeah. It can be salvaged. Okay. I mean, how long did they cut you off?
It wasn't very long. Let's see if it's. So I can pull it up, see if it'll come back.
See, this is why I don't do movie reviews. Because it's like,
gotta know how to do it.
I guess so. I guess we showed too much of the film. It still says that we're live, though.
Well, maybe we are.
There he goes. Now we're back.
Hey.
Are we actually back?
Yeah, I think we're back now. And trust me, StreamYard's still recording. So you still have the file. So that's happened with Halo. That's what Ironcaster is referring to. So I was letting whole segments play while we were talking. And that's what got gigged. They got gigged by all of that stuff, the original footage playing, even though we were talking over it. And I'm like, well, I thought we could talk over it. But no, those were the segments that were a problem for me.
Hero Brad saved the stream. I'm going to blame it on
Hero. And we still have 6 viewers. We only lost 1. So
all right. Well, that was Sailor Moon. For those of you who wanted us to talk about Sailor Moon, that's what we talked about.
Low spec Linux laptop. Oh my gosh! Hey, you're out there. You're back. Yes, we're back. We're back. Okay, I guess obviously we can't show any more of the film on the stream unless we want to get gigged.
We can always just basically do screenshots and talk about it.
If you just fast forward and then just pause on that shot, and they won't. You know, what I mean, like the segments aren't really playing. That'll be fine.
Right out there.
It's a little trickier right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway, there's still plenty to talk about in the film. Obviously, one of the cool things about the character of Talon is the fact that he's like this roguish, adventuring type. I mean, he's got a whole mercenary company and all this other stuff. I mean, he's like, apparently going back and getting revenge and getting his kingdom back wasn't the primary thought on his mind. He was enjoying, roaming the lands and being a warrior and all that stuff. It's almost like him coming back to save the kingdom was almost an afterthought sort of thing. Well, actually, he wouldn't have done it at all if he hadn't have gotten hired by the princess to do it. So
yeah, I did get lost in all that. So is the Talon guy related to the king and queen?
Well, this is him as a kid, and Talon is,
he's technically the rightful prince.
Yeah, he's the prince.
So if he's recruited by the princess and they have business to attend to, like that whole end scene was like, wait.
Yeah, why do they get to be in control? It is a little confusing. And the problem is they have too many little story subplots that are all sort of ending in the same spot. And it does get a little confusing because you have Talon trying to take on Cromwell. Then you have the demon that's trying to take on Cromwell. You have the prince and the princess. They want to be in charge. And it's like, okay, well, it is a little much. That doesn't get...
But Talon is technically a prince too, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
But doesn't he hook up with the princess?
Well, I think it's a different family, right?
It's a different family.
Families. Like a Game of Thrones thing. There's supposed to be different families coming together at that wedding.
Yeah, it's not incestuous.
Oh, thank God, because that part lost me because it didn't explain that too well to me, and I'm like, wait, what? Who? Oh my goodness.
Well, you were watching the Rift Tracks version
of Talon's family, so he would be the person. Yeah.
Okay. But
Whew.
I mean, there's a lot of little things in there, like the fact they brought the Lich back just immediately. He went. Our prince had gone and revived the Lich to help him defeat the other kingdoms, only to immediately kill him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Cromwell was the usurper, and yeah, he had subjugated all the other kingdoms with the sorcerer's help, and
in the snake scene. Wow.
T-shirt wants to talk about that incest. It's not. There's no incest, Brad. Stop.
Well, I think we have to at least go back to the story because you have the rogue galleons just kind of cruising around across the land behind Talon, but then we have to get to the point where the princess actually hires him because it's probably just. I don't know how much they intended it to be funny, but my goodness, it is fantastic. So we have
the whole scene where he slaps her.
Little sword jokes, and she tries to slap him, and that's fantastic.
The small threat thing, though, that's a very small threat.
Yeah, there is a great line in that film. It's like, yeah, that's a small threat. That's a very small threat. And my friend, my co-gamer and friend still uses that line to this very day when we're in games. So that's how much of an impact for gamers that this film really had. I had really wanted Grim to be on this stream as another gamer to talk about this film, but his health is kind of rough, so I didn't want to wear him out because we need him for tomorrow.
I mean, there is so much in this movie you could take out for just inspiration for games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's obviously the sword. There's the usurper king calling upon foul magics to
how not to crucify someone.
Yeah. Oh, that crucifixion scene. Yeah, we'll get there. Well, and the fact that the sorcerer was actually hiding, his true form amongst Cromwell's guys himself the whole time, and he was never found.
But I mean, other than the obvious sword, what else would you use for gaming? And the organ ripping out thing.
Well, the whole. I thought the whole sorcerer hiding himself as another guy thing was actually pretty cool. Actually, the scene where the sorcerer reveals himself and like tears all of his skin and stuff off was just like, whoa.
Yeah, that was a big deal in the theater. Saw that for the first time. Was like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't have digital effects back then, kiddies. That was all done practically, and it was gross. Yeah. and it seemed like they were doing it for maximum grossness.
Well, I mean, we've seen how dedicated they are to this movie. I mean, they actually threw someone off of a cliff.
Yeah. Guy jumped off a cliff and died. Richard Mall has freaking eyes.
Richard Mall, he's got to go have eye surgery.
Yeah, I almost blinded him.
I would love to interview Lee Horsley and ask him about all this. It'd just be great.
Oh, I imagine so. I know I'm kind of pimping it a little bit, but that's okay. I don't mind. Shout Factory or Scream Factory just released the 4K collector's edition of Sword and the Sorcerer on Blu-ray, and it does have an audio commentary track by the director, which is where I get a lot of this information from, by the way. And it's absolutely worth it just for the audio track. But of course, the actual scenes and everything are as good looking as they're probably ever going to get. And hi, Ash. If you had seen this film, we'd have invited you to this panel. But you're being so young, you need to watch this one.
if not for the snake scene, then for the incest. That's why you need to watch it. The
snake scene. Uh-oh. You mean the one where the snake is wrapped around the princess?
It's like, well, that's gratuitous.
And she doesn't even make any sounds or really try to fight it off, and then all of a sudden she just goes, ah!
Exactly. It's like, whoa, babe, whoa.
Whoa, what's happening over there? We might want to be a little concerned.
I thought it was funny because he runs over there and he cuts the snakes. He cuts the snake, and you watch the snake comes apart in 3 pieces as it goes flying. And I'm kind of like, what did he do? Was he like cutting so fast that he? I think what was meant in the original was that he was going to hit it with the triple bladed sword, and it was going to cut it into 3 pieces. But that's not how the scene played out. So I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. I need to get it, and then I'll probably swap out my Kiss of the Vampire poster with the Sword and the Sorcerer because, my God, is that box art beautiful?
Ash, this is like one of the most gonzo greatest fantasy films ever made, and you absolutely should see it. But the fight scene between Cromwell and Talon at the end was just awesome, with all the gimmick weapons and everybody's breaking each other's sword, and there's swords coming out of swords, and oh man, that.
Or the scene where he's like at the bottom of the stairwell and he takes his super awesome 3-bladed sword and breaks everybody's swords, and I'm like, dude, aren't those the same swords that just broke your sword a couple of scenes ago? What the what?
No.
But maybe he visited the blacksmith on his way. Maybe, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, there was so much sword breaking in this film. I'm just kind of like, what are these swords made out of? You know, were they just using like raw iron that was not tempered? I mean, it looks like steel in all the films, but
it explodes like shards of glass in that shot too. Like it doesn't break in like a single piece. It just kind of like explode in little shards. It was really, again, you try not to laugh, but there's parts of it where you're like, that's so good.
I was dying laughing. It wasn't even because of the Riff Tracks version. I was like, I had to pause because I was like, I couldn't hear the rest of the movie over how hard I was laughing. I was like, wow.
It has a lot of great one-liners in it too, which was perfect for the 80s.
Mm-hmm. 80s was definitely the one-liners. Like, what's wrong with you, potato head?
And their facial expressions, they always the big eyeball thing, like I just every time they turn and have that big eye stare. Like, what are they doing to you below the waist? Like, what is
he picked some very emotive actors for this film for the casting. So,
but that's the only emote they have. Surprise.
How do we know a toad like you even has the power to aid us?
Yes.
It's funny how Lee Horsley never really comes out of this sort of like stoic, heroic, I'm here to save the day thing. Because no matter what's happening around him, he just sort of has the exact same look.
Yeah,
but all the people around him are all like crazy eyed, and people are just grabbing fire and they're running around with swords and whatever. And he's just like, yes. How you doing? I'm here.
I got the impression he was wearing mascara throughout the entire film. But
there was a lot of makeup going on.
Everybody was wearing mascara.
It was the 80s.
I used to block the smoke that kept happening. I'm like, can somebody please turn off the smoke machine?
Yeah, they
long
went
enough
crazy with
to watch the movie.
They went crazy with the smoke machines on this film. There was smoke everywhere. Mm-hmm. I love the scene where the Red Dragon archers are out there and they're going to torch all the rebels inside the cave, and then Talon dumps the thing of oil, and you can see the oil pouring down underneath the archers' feet. And I'm kind of like, none of you guys look down at all.
That is the fastest burning human flesh I've ever seen. Like they were charred to a crisp in a couple of minutes, and I was like, What were they made out of?
That's what I was standing in. That's what I was standing in. None of you told me.
Hey, Anthony. It's the first R-rated movie.
Really sweaty fuckers.
Oh, don't get me started on the sweat, the well-oiled sweat bodies of the 80s. Let me tell you.
Yes.
I was like, how do you shower?
Well, I remember a young me was definitely kind of like had to watch that scene where the princess was getting oiled down a couple of times. I didn't even understand why I was so excited about that, but 10. So. Anyway, was that too much?
I understand why I was excited.
Okay. Yeah. This is the movie with the tri-bladed sword. Yes. And see, look, there we go. Anthony is the creator of the Any World game system, and he gets it.
I was shocked to discover that there was a sequel.
Oh, I watched that. The sequel is terrible.
But it's got Kevin Sorbo in it.
Yeah. Lee Horsley actually shows up in that, and he's aged a lot. I didn't even recognize him at first, and then I had to go back and look, and I was like, oh, that is him. But he does make a brief cameo in it. But no, that film's terrible. I don't recommend the sequel. It has almost nothing to do with the original anyway. And it definitely feels more cash grab.
Welcome to the 80s.
Yeah. But,
yes, Strike While the Iron is Hot.
Yeah.
30 years later.
Yeah, 30 years later.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I think one of the great things about this film, too, is the fact that since everything had to be done practically, it still kind of looks good, in its own way.
How can you tell if it looks bad? You can't. This movie is so fuzzy from all the smoke. You're like, you can't tell if the effects are bad or not. You're like, I think that was well done. I mean, it looks okay. Like I kept rubbing my eyes, thinking it was me.
Well, there's literally so much fire, smoke. People are oiled up, wearing makeup. It's just just so many layers of what they put into this film. It's actually just quite impressive.
Everybody looks grimy, which is kind of cool. So.
Yeah, compared to other movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did like the chick's wedding dress. I want one of those. That was pretty legit cool looking.
Okay, yeah. Anthony, you want to see Sword and the Sorcerer? No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to. You don't. It's not.
Wait, in the second one, does it come with like a 6-bladed sword?
No.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the 3-bladed sword doesn't come back in the second movie.
A Zweihander with 6 blades. I mean, I should write movies, guys.
The triple-bladed sword did not come back in the second film.
I don't think it's in the sequel, is it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well,
not to my no. Okay, honestly, I only watched it once because it was horrible.
I'm actually looking it up because I've only seen it one time and it's a long time ago.
Yeah. I saw it on Amazon Prime and I remember it was not good.
Yeah, it's in the poster. He only has 1 blade.
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah, don't watch it. Don't you won't. You will not like it. I just trust me on that. Just like Beastmaster 2. Beastmaster 2 is more watchable than Sword and the Sorcerer 2. And Beastmaster 2 is pretty terrible also, but I digress. We're not. I want to go back. I go
back to the great quotes because I love the end when he comes into the room. He's got the sword. The demon's there, ready to have our throwdown. He says, "I have no quarrel with you. Out of my way." It's like Cromwell is mine. Well, now we have a quarrel.
Now we have a quarrel. Yes.
It's so 80s. It's just it's so great. Oh,
the fingernails. That was my favorite part. Right. The light up fingernails. I was like,
fingernails.
Yes, go with your bad self. Get your fingernails going. Get it.
Telekinetic fingernails.
Telekinetic death fingernails.
Throw you first and then attack.
Mind you, this movie came out the same year as E.T.
Yes, it did.
So it's not like they even pulled it from that.
Nope.
No.
So what you're saying is he stole E.T.'s gimmick and then killed people with it. Like, maybe he was like E.T. reincarnated.
Ew. No, I hope not. Oh. But I thought it was kind of funny because Cromwell's response to Talon after he sees him, shoot the dude with the sword. He looks over and he says, "Sly sword." That's his best. That's his best line. He's like dead. He's kind of like, this guy can shoot me with his sword blade before I can get anywhere near him. So that's his big line. I'm like, okay. I thought he was gonna do it too, but he's like, nah. He shoots his sword off into the wall, and they go at it mano a mano with sword to sword, and Cromwell ends up having the big dick energy with his sword and blows up Talon's sword.
Big dick energy. Oh my god! No.
What would you call it? The sword had like a head on it. I mean,
I know. But that's why the scene where they throw the sword and he goes to catch it, because catching the sword is such a great thing, but it's in slow motion. He kind of and he reaches slowly to grab it. They don't even try to manipulate any of that to make it more believable. It's just yeah.
And it's like a big massive
broadsword. It's a massive broadsword. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what's up with the handle on that thing anyway?
It's ridiculous. It's this huge thing. Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch that.
No,
not gonna touch it.
Queued it up for you.
Yeah.
I'll touch it later.
Sailor Moon. Let's talk about Sailor Moon.
But I liked some of the obvious, it was the 80s too, so there's so much obvious and I don't mean this from a woke perspective, but sexism and just like the part where. And I love the fact that he looks at the sailor, calls him a black dog, and the little sailor guy, the pirate guy in the jail cell is like, "What?" I was like, that's kind of scarily accurate. Oh, I love you, 80s. Like, what? Well, that would have never made it through film today.
Going back to rewatch the movie today, it feels so refreshing because it is unapologetically fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you just want to I want to watch all these guys go off and have adventures and free kingdoms and do all this fun stuff. And then we'll go fight a supernatural monster while we're at it.
Yeah, it really, nothing in cinema really captures the feel of a Dungeons and Dragons game as much as this film, or at least a good one.
All of those elements that I think you're talking about, Squeaka, is kind of what the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones captures, right? The nudity, the sexism, all the chaos, the backstabbing, all this different stuff, and then once. Sort of like the woke culture really was strangling society, and they caved a lot on those elements, and they went away in the later seasons of Game of Thrones. And then you see a film like this, and I think part of it is because it just becomes believable. Like, you just know this is the kind of stuff it was. This guy's going to have a harem. They're not going to be dressed. There's going to be, crazy chaos that would break out in that type of culture. And the 80s just did not care. All of this, just throw it again.
I mean, throw people off cliffs to kill them. I mean, they didn't care.
I still love the scene where Talon swings and crashes through the window, and it ends up in the harem, lands on top of that girl, and then just looks right at her, and she's all shocked, and then he kisses her right on the mouth, and you can see it in the opening thing. So,
well, that's every guy's fantasy. No girl has that fantasy because we're like, I don't want to get covered in shards of glass. That's not sexy. Or that you wouldn't sleep in that outfit because it would hurt.
Sweaty guy laying on top of you.
The early 80s, there were lots of women that were hoping Lee Horsley would just fall on top of them and give them a kiss, because it was a big deal. This whole Tom Selleck, Matt Houston,
Tom Selleck can crash through my window at any time.
Yeah, it's the same era of stuff, basically.
Come on, Squeaky.
And that's why this guy was cast.
Do you mean to tell me that if Talon went crashing into your window, landed on top of you, and gave you a big sloppy kiss, you would hate it? Really?
Well, yeah, because I'd have to pay for that window. There'd be glass shards tearing up my bed, and I would be like, "You're not even my type." So, now, if the chick came through, no, I'm just kidding.
You're so picky.
I am picky. If you're gonna break a window, you better be what I want. Amazon,
right. He could come bursting through your window and say, "Would you like to talk about Sailor Moon?"
Oh, in that case, he's all in, and I'd be like, "Come on, baby, I got a spot for you right here."
Now something to keep in mind. Okay, this film was released on April 23rd, 1982, right? On a budget of $4 million back then.
Wow,
which was a pretty good budget, but the box office that this film did was $39.1 million.
10 times.
Yeah, easily.
And for those of you who didn't live through this, part of the reason that films like this were box office successes too was because when E.T. is this phenomenon, there was sort of kind of like, I don't want to sit through that. Let me go do something else. Go on a date night. Go do whatever. So the culture in that era really was primed for these sort of like different genres of films. People could do different things, and Hollywood has totally lost all that with timing.
Not only that, there were fewer movies being released per year, where there weren't nearly as many. So the ones that would come out might be in theater. Like some of these movies, if they're big, they'd be there for a year. I mean, Star Wars is the prime example of that. That thing was in theaters for an entire year.
9 to 5 was in theaters forever. I remember.
Yeah. And then, like I said earlier, like they re-released Raiders of the Lost Ark in '82. It was such a big success.
Right, and this is also the time of the emergence of the great fantasy, the great adventure. Like, I mean, from Raiders of the Lost Ark to, even alien stories like E.T. that, kids could kind of get into their own kind of adventure. And then to this, this was the time when, there was a lot more fantasy writing. Like, this was like D&D came out. Like, this is the time of great adventure. Like when people were really starting to get a foothold on all of this.
And it was all year long, because at the end of the year is when Tron came out. So Tron is like the computer side of all of that,
right?
So, artificial intelligence and computers and all that. And it just opened your mind to this imagination of like, whoa, what is possible out there? Absolutely.
And I do need to point out too that, like I said, the film grossed $39 million at the box office. It was the most profitable independent film of 1982.
Yep.
It was the light up fingers. It was the light up fingers. It must have been.
And evidently there were toy manufacturers who were making.
Sorry.
Evidently,
I don't know why that was so funny.
I don't know. That's your hitch today. But they made the 3-bladed swords. They made toy plastic versions of it, and I wish to hell I could have found one, because if I could have, I would have bought one back then.
Yeah, but would you have left your sword parts lying around like this guy did? Would you
I have no idea. I've never even seen pictures of what the plastic sword looked like.
I couldn't find one. I actually, after I rewatched it, I thought about that. I'm like, man, I don't even know if I could find one, and I didn't see any available on a quick search. But yeah, we were irresponsible with our toys in the '80s. So let's just be honest, we would have lost those blades.
We would have, or they would.
I still have one of my toys from the '80s.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed with the fact that you still have that.
Which toy do you have?
The Dark Tower game.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's hilarious though. I'm not showing off any tweets, but the day Ironcaster's watching this, he's tweeting me. He's in here quoting the film, and then he's like, "Oh shit, him pulling his hand from the nail like that when he's freeing himself."
The weakest crucifixion in the history of film.
Oh my gosh, yes. And what's funny is the minute they showed that, I was like, he's going to pull those nails out by himself. You watch. That's how badass he is. And what happened?
Yeah. He did.
I will say I like the fact that he was crucified in an X, which was actually like common practice when they were crucifying people, and that doesn't get talked about enough, so I like that part of it.
I like the part that he kept going from bended elbow to straight elbow to bended. Like, is that just me? Like, what? I was like, what?
Continuity does not matter. He needed a break. We have to let him rest.
Yeah. Well,
he needed leverage to get those nails out.
Well, the other thing is they got him through the.
Oh, those are the cheesy toys. Yeah.
I don't remember
those.
That's
what I was able to find.
Those are Acco. I forget the company. They made these like almost like it's hard to discern from them being like the knockoff version of a other real toy, or if they're not. It's yeah.
His triple-bladed sword's not in there either, but they put the nails through the palms of his hands too, which I'm kind of like, that's not proper. His hands would have ripped off.
Yeah, go see your wrist.
Yeah, they're supposed to be through the wrist, but I guess it doesn't look as cool. The other thing too is it's kind of like, how is he able to even grip his sword afterward? Because he's got holes right through the middle of his hands. It's kind of like I don't think he can make a fist.
His talent. You do not question talent.
His talent. And my favorite part is Ironcaster. He tweeted to me. He's like, in all caps, "It has a smaller sword in the hilt."
Like his sword's getting shattered. I'm like, he's gonna like run him through with this little tiny rinky dink like half broken sword. I'm like, wait, no, he's not. It has a smaller sword.
Most guys do.
Ow.
The small threat.
If the movie can whip them out, so can I. We've already established that.
Puns are intended here, folks. Puns are intended.
Oh my god. Oh.
I mean, it was a small threat in that hilt, let me tell you.
A small threat indeed.
But deadly. And then to top it all off, it's like the sword that he ends up killing everybody with at the end is in the gauntlet that he wore. It was the little wrist blade thing that shot out, and because that's the one that he killed Cromwell.
Assassin's Creed with that.
Yeah, basically, it's reverse Assassin's Creed blade. Yeah, I mean the movie is so over the top great. Anytime somebody wants to talk about good films, I'll be like, "That's a good one." What do you mean it's good? It's so cheesy. I'm like, that's why it's good.
It was so there would be like these random cutscenes where like it would be action and weird action, and then all of a sudden they'd stop and look at my coolness and my full where he's going up the stairs and they're like, "Go save the girl," and he stops going up the stairs and he's all glistening and his sword is shining and he just stops and stares at you and breaks that fourth wall, and I'm like, oh, okay.
He's posing.
Get going with your bad self. Do it.
You can see there's definitely a divided fandom of people that can appreciate this element of the 80s and who can't. It's like the Dark Crystal suffers from the same thing because they did that Netflix thing, and it was like people were like, some folks were critical online about Dark Crystal, the original one. I'm like, well, then you're just not for you. You're not going to get it if you don't get it. Like, there's just nothing I can do for you. You can't appreciate a film because, like you said earlier, like you think about $4 million in the 80s. I'm sure inflation and all is a ton of money. However, the amount of practical effects and the amount of makeup and oil and fire effects, and it is a lot. It's hard to think about how much this independent film was able to accomplish, especially his first film. It's like really a lot he was able to do. It's very, if I could liken it to almost like what John Carpenter was able to accomplish with Halloween. He was able to accomplish so much more than what history can understand in some ways.
Well, and if they didn't get it on the first take, even like you're hoping that your movie goes on the first take, you've got all of these effects that you're trying to accomplish, and if it doesn't work on the first take, you've got to remake this stuff, restitch this stuff, and try again. So, and that just adds to it.
And just to let you know, $4 million in the 1980s is about the equivalent in purchasing power today of almost $14 million.
I actually would have expected that to be more, but okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
awesome though. That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean,
you still would have made a profit.
Yeah, this film was basically made on 12 to 13, $14 million, which is, I guess, what chicken feed these days.
Yeah, so much money is wasted.
It was a shoestring budget by all accounts.
Mm-hmm. And they spun it into gold. I mean, everything in that film looks good. I mean, yes, they do use a whole lot of smoke, and they do shoot a whole bunch of it in the dark to cover up, the stuff. But still, it still looks good. It looks dark, and even though it looks dark, it's not what I would classify as a dark fantasy.
I don't know. It depends on your perspective.
Well, it has dark fantasy elements because of the horror and stuff, but it's honestly, it's so swashbuckling and for the most part fairly lighthearted to the point where it's kind of like, no, it's more of an adventure movie.
Well, if you were that snake that got caught into thirds, you would disagree. It was dark.
Definitely. The snake that was hit with one sword and cut into thirds.
Maybe there was an extra one in the hilt and we just didn't get to see it.
Either that or...
Go ahead.
They probably pre-cut that snake into like 3 little sections, and thinking that he's gonna hit it with the triple-bladed sword that'll fall into 3 pieces, and then they're like, no, he's just supposed to use the one blade, and they say, oh fuck it, just hit it anyway because it's the only one we got.
Oops.
Well, growing up in that era, they probably just did it, and then in editing, they realized, you only swung it once, right? Like, they don't care. We're not calling back. Who doesn't get credit? And it's really, maybe we're doing a disservice as well. It's like, who is the prop master and makeup department on a film like this? Because that was a busy job, man.
Yeah,
a really busy job.
I want to know whose idea the triple bladed sword was, because that guy I want to ask questions about. At what point did they decide?
Yeah,
at what point did they decide? Yes, of course, this sword is gonna shoot swords, and then we're gonna have a smaller sword inside.
You just can't get over it. He's got a smaller sword inside the sword.
I love that sword, and I got a sword right here.
I am never unarmed. Yeah, it's. And then Cromwell's got the staff with a blade and another blade, and it splits in half and forms more blades.
And yet the guy with all the blades still got crucified. Like, where were all of these blades when you were busy getting captured?
Exactly. Well, the film wouldn't have been as much fun if Talon had been utterly successful in every single thing that he did. So
like pulling stakes out of a crucifix and cross. Yes, that's not utterly successful.
Well, I mean, look at how he actually got taken. I mean, it's like he got hit from behind by the sneaky dude. I mean, I'm kind of like, come on, man. Like,
just to give credit to what's so special about the 80s and these kind of films is, if you look at the credits, all the kings that literally walk into that wedding.
Probably the third line of Coke is exactly. That's what I keep saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that, if you look at they actually come up with king. All those kings have names. So one's called King Richard, King Leonidas, King Sancho, Ludwig, whatever. If this were made into today, they'd be like King 1, King 2, King 3, King 4. They just don't care about those kind of details. All these secondary characters have actual proper names and stuff. There's very few.
These are our
names.
These are our checkbox kings and queens. We got to make sure we have the whole rainbow of ethnicity.
No, that they would all be kings, but some of them would be females and still wearing the title of king.
I thought it would be easy, but there's like a million makeup artists on this. So it's really everybody was assigned a person to grease up and put prosthetics on, basically.
Yes. You're like drawing straws, and you're like, oh, I gotta grease up this guy.
Grab your paint roller. You're applying grease today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has a certain person. Yeah.
Could you imagine putting that on your resume? Like, what did you do? Oh, I was a greaser back in the 80s. What? Oh, well, you see. Let me just.
I do have to draw attention to there was one there's one scene in the film that I find hilarious to this day, and that is, well, okay, there's a lot of scenes, but this one was funny as fuck. Okay, Talon's guys, they find out that Talon's been captured, and they're in the harem, or they're actually in a brothel with a bunch of pirates. And the pirates and the mercenaries go assault the castle trying to get him back, and then you just see them running towards the castle, and then it's just like the next scene you see is them all inside the prison, like, this is your fault.
That's what I meant by, like, it just switches, and you're like, wait, what?
All off camera, folks. You see nothing. They're going to do it, and they're going to charge, and then they cut, and they're behind bars, and one's going, it's all your fault. No, it's not. It's your fault. And you're like, we didn't see anything. There's no. Yeah, it was.
We didn't need to see it.
We didn't need to. It's good storytelling, though. I mean, because that's what I love about the film is it's got so many moments of levity.
Well, and then they off the blonde chick. That's supposed to help them. Right away. And then while this dramatic stuff is going on, some random guy in chains comes up out of nowhere. Like, wait, where were you?
Yeah.
To try to strangle the other dude.
Well, he was over there. He was there too. Hey, Salty Texas C. It's good to see you, man.
It's good to know what summons you, Salty.
Yes, we said the word brothel, and Salty Texas C will appear.
We know all about brothels down here.
Yeah. But anyway, well, we've been at this for about an hour and 10, and I think Pop Culture Minefield is going on today, and I don't want to intrude on my friends Gary and Keith. So, if did anybody have anything to wrap it up with? I mean, any closing comments or?
I mean, I'm fine landing on top of a brothel.
Good time to go land in a brothel and kiss some random women.
Well, if anybody can go through my windows, I mean, they're tiny, so more power to them. They can stay.
It's a tiny window.
Indeed.
I mean, they don't give you big windows in prison. I'm kidding.
All right. Squeaky, come out. We just want to talk about some Sailor Moon.
Yes, Salty Texas C. Yes, it's great. We need more old school fantasy stories with unnecessary. Yes, we do.
It was not unnecessary nudity. It was very necessary. I am very appreciative of the necessary nudity. I might have paused a few times.
Well, many teenagers in the 80s did as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then you would go and like rent the tape, and you'd like get certain scenes, and the tape would get a little more distorted right there.
Yeah, if you rented this like in the 1989, early 90s, something like that, what happened? You get to certain scenes, and it would just be all squiggly on the VHS. You're like,
because that's where they paused it. This is no joke, too. Y'all remember another film called Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Of course.
The scene where she comes out of the pool. That was like the most paused thing I think in VHS history, because they had so many tapes that were brought back to the store, and that scene in particular, that one little section is where the tapes got distorted, broken, and all that other stuff. So there you go. But
it's been awesome.
All right.
Come now. Right. Let's be off. There's a battle to the offing. We've got kings to save and women to love.
Yes.
And the legendary. There were so many the legendary. It was just the legendary.
And the offings.
The legendary offing? Like they kept commenting in the narration about the legendary, and I'm like, you go. All right.
The legendary.
Get it. But thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I demanded that you were on after you made the announcement. I've seen the Rift Tracks version. Oh no, we got to get you on here. We got to get you on.
I was just shocked that it was on Tubi for free. I was like, oh, look at that. That's so fun. Let's watch that too. Yeah.
Ironcaster is the one who let me know about that. So
I gotta go find a few more, like, we'll say, gems.
You know, the one you need to watch.
I gotta try to throw out some people. Like, recently I was just rewatching Hell Comes to Frogtown.
That's an excellent film. I've got that. Yes.
That's the name of a movie?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Roddy Piper.
Oh my God, yes!
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
His job, by the way, his job in this movie is to impregnate women.
Yeah, it's to restart the human race. Basically.
When are we watching this? I'm down. Are you movie night at Ironcasters? Let's go.
There we go. But if we're going to stay in this vein, there is definitely one film you need to see, Ironcaster. And I'm going to watch the entire audience cringe. Deathstalker.
Yes.
It's a Roger Corman film.
Roger Corman, man.
That's even better.
Different class. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, just
he hadn't said he said he hadn't seen Beastmaster. We got to
seen Beastmaster. Yeah, you got to
wrap up 82 by at least seeing Beastmaster. Yeah.
I can show you the squeaker.
Oh yeah, this is from Hell Comes to Frogtown.
What? Oh my Jesus! Oh my! I'm never sleeping. What is that? What? What? I want the bed of faces over the what? Is that even a real chainsaw? Does it have a?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's a real chainsaw.
It doesn't look bladed.
Dangerous on set.
Somebody said, "Hey, chainsaw that gets taken to a chastity belt.
Cut it off."
Someone was wearing.
Oh my! What the? Oh my! What? Oh my!
Someone told their mom, "Hey, mom, I got a job acting. You're going to be so proud of me. I'm the guy with the frog head.
I'm the
with the chainsaw, mom." Yeah.
Oh my!
To the credit
Lord
of the movie,
yes. Phoebe Cates. Yeah, that's right. Phoebe Cates. Phoebe
to the
Cates.
credit of the movie, the makeup for the frogs looks phenomenal.
It does look good.
Oh, the Hunter from the Future. Yeah, Tor.
Your Hunter from the Future starring Reb Brown. Oh God,
isn't there also a Gore? Like G-O-R?
Yeah.
Yes. There were two Gore films, and boy, they were bad. Both of them were bad. One of them had Jack Palance. Actually, I think they both had Jack Palance. And they're bad. They were both on Mystery Science Theater, but they weren't. I don't think they were called Gore. I think they were actually titled something else.
I think it was Cave Dwellers.
No. Cave Dwellers is a different show.
Yeah, I checked. One is called Gore for sure.
One is called Gore. Okay, and then they had a sequel. Shockingly,
I don't think I'm familiar with the sequel, but yeah, there's Outlaw of Gore.
Outlaw of Gore. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. I remember Gore. I don't remember Outlaw of Gore.
Yeah, I've seen them both. They're terrible, but they're good. They're fun to watch.
Jack Palance.
Right Stuff Anime's having a live action movies. Ooh, thank you, Brad.
Looking there right now, but.
Yes, Manos, the Hands of Fate. Someday.
I remembered getting to show Esh that.
You showed Esh Manos?
Yes.
That you scarred that boy for life. You know that.
I think he seems to be doing okay.
Okay.
He just didn't talk to me for a little while afterwards.
Well, I need to go. I know you were trying to wrap this up. But
thanks for including me, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, Pops. I'm glad you were able to make it. I'm to the audience out there. I'm so sorry. Stone Loki could not make it. Believe me, I know he wishes he was here instead of where he is. But I hope he's getting better. And hey, we'll try to do this again in the future. The next time Ironcaster watches something and he's popping off at me on Twitter, he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they squished the guy's head with the giant hammer." What am I talking about? See Deathstalker. You'll know what I'm talking about, Ironcaster. Until then, laters.
Bye, guys. Thanks, chat. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.